Hey guys, today I'm going to rate every single track in Mario Kart World's Grand Prix by 3 categories. I'm going to measure these things. I'm going to go with the visuals, the music, and the track feel. It's pretty simple. Let's get right into it. All right, so the first track in the Mushroom Cup is Mario Bros. Circuit. Now, let's start with the visuals. It's pretty cool. This feels like your rich friend in high schools, like parents built this, like they got dumb money, like they skipped past like maybe having a movie theater in their house and they went straight to just let's build a go-kart track behind our home, kind of like that, but with a little bit of a Mario flair. So I guess if Mario was like a nepo baby with money, you know, the Mario Bros parents, the parent bros dropped this. Now the music, this is gonna be a recurring theme in this ranking, this video, where most music is good, if not all of it is pretty good. Just not there. You have to stand out for me to remember you, I suppose. And I was like trying to listen for it, but then I realized if I have to like really lock in and listen to it, it's probably not that good, because the best music in this video that I'm going to talk about, the best track music, stood out without me having to do that, to try extra hard. So yeah, it's pretty Mario, you know. Track feel, I feel pretty passionate about the track feel here. I would say that this is a pretty good course with some good elements in there that prepare you for the rest of the game. I would say it's probably the best starter track for those who've not played Mario Kart ever, or really in a really long time, they want to get back into it. It's got a little bit of everything you need, but like in a baby fashion. So pretty decent overall grade, all things considered. Pretty overall grade, I would say like a B. Like a B. All right, the next track, a little partial to it. It's Crown City, but it's in the Mushroom Cup. This is something that happens, I think, twice in this video and in the game. They have 2 courses, or they have, okay, so there are 2 tracks, 2 different set of 2, okay, let me start this over again. Holy hell. Keep this in, don't edit this out. We're going to work through this. There are 4 tracks in this game. 2 of them share the same name, and another 2 share the same name. The example being there is a Crown City in the Mushroom Cup, and there's a Crown City somewhere else in a different cup, as well as there's a Peach Stadium and another Peach Stadium. I think the other Peach Stadium, one of them is like the special cup maybe, but they're different, I think, and it almost is like 2 different parts of the same overall world. I think that's what it is. Someone smarter than me, maybe leave in the comments section and let me know. But we'll start with the Crown City in the Mushroom Cup. Partial to this, as a New Jersey resident who spent a lot of time in New York with family there, you know, it's like New York City. The vibes, visually, kind of reminds me, if you're familiar, of Castelia City from Pokemon Black and White. Kind of reminds me of that. I like it a lot. I think it's cool. I think one of the things I like about it is how busy it seems. Now, the music. I like this. I like the music. It's busy, upbeat, but I don't know if this is the best way to describe it, but it's filled with some sunlight, if that makes any sense. So, like, say, imagine you're walking through a city, and you're aware of how busy it is and how stressful it might be, but you feel like the sunlight hits you a little bit differently, hits you on a different part of your face when you're there. But it's also very grounding, and it doesn't let you forget the fact that you're in a city with a lot of energy, and you better watch your back, because you might get someone just pulling up out of nowhere, a lot of environmental stuff, all that, which is cool. Leading into the next thing, track feel. I would classify this as a tier 2, maybe a tier 3 track after you graduate from kindergarten, you know, baby's first course being Mario Bros. Circuit. Now you're on this one. Much more advanced jumps, railways, bridges, bends, turns, half pipes, or whatever the hell. Really love that skate section there. That was pretty cool. I think that's in this one. I have my notes over here on the... I went through all these tracks. I have notes. There's no way I'm going to remember all this off the top of my head. That's why I went through. I'm not like a savant, but yeah. That's how I feel about it. Overall grade, I enjoyed this experience when I really focused on it. I played through all these tracks a million times before sitting down and recording my thoughts. When I started looking at it analytically, I actually enjoyed its elements more. I thought they were more refined when you paid attention to them. So I'm going to give it an A- for that one. On to the next. Next track, Whistle Stop Summit. I'm going to go through that slowly so I wouldn't stutter. The visual aesthetic, I really like it. I actually like it a lot. It reminds me of when you go off-road in Grand Theft Auto on a bike, and you're like not supposed to be by the train tracks, but you're just there anyways, just driving along, and then you get hit by the train by mistake because you're not paying attention. That was me. Play with the sound off. Don't do that. Don't do that. I think I did that back in Liberty City Stories on the PSP. Throwback. It's pretty cool. It was pretty cool. I felt It also reminded me of, if you guys have ever been to Disney in Florida, the Runaway Railroad track thing. So much alliteration today, trying to get me to slip up. I think that's what it's called. It's literally just a railroad ride that's very similar in aesthetic, and it kind of made me feel cool. Like, I was like, damn, I'm like a miner, chilling, looking for gold, and then boom, asphyxiation because of asbestos poisoning. Anyway, music. I actually really like the music, and going along with the music, also the sound, because the music was very hype. It almost reminded me of the Pokemon Sword and Shield Stadium music. Very hype. They mixed in crowd cheering into the ambiance, into the sound, which was cool. I remember hitting a turn, and I looked to my left, and I saw, like, Koopas and, like, Shy Guys and, like, the Lakitu, like, chilling, cheering me on, and I was like, hey, and then I hit the wall because I was not looking at the road. Don't do that. Track feel. This is where it kind of impressed me. When I was playing the track, I was analytically looking at it, and I realized that the first couple times I rode this track, I rode it normally without really taking it to the next level. Then I realized that there are so many opportunities here with railways and the connecting paths and height and ascending and descending, that there are multiple ways to take this track to the next level if you really want to. So it's not too hard, and you can make it out alive if you go normally and you do a normal just drive on the track. But if you want to take alternate paths and get more of that track, you really can. And I think that's the sign of a really well-designed track, course, whatever you want to say, whatever you want to call it, because you get out of it what you put in, and I really, really like that. I always like it when there are multiple ways to do something or to play something, and it has replayability. So really big fan of that. Overall rating, I'm gonna give it an A-. Closing in on an A. Closing in on an A. I think that almost fell over. Oh my lord! I think it would be an A if it did a little bit more towards the end. I think it peaked a little bit and didn't really finish super strong, but still really solid. Okay, the last one here. This is actually really funny to me. We're going to do DK Spaceport. I wrote in my notes, I could see it right there. I wrote that I love the blocky airport thing. Not really sure what it's supposed to be otherwise. It's literally a spaceport. It's not an airport, it's a space station. Now, keeping that in mind, it's a little bit better. The color scheme's a little interesting, but I kind of like it. It's a little retro gamey with like spaceport vibes. I must have missed when they launched Donkey Kong into space, but didn't they launch monkeys into space? I make that up? I don't know. Watching a lot of space stuff lately. I think I would have retained any of that information. Music, I was hoping for something more Donkey Kong-y. You know, like the jungle instruments. Like something that would have Tarzan and Turk like twerking, but I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it. I kept trying to remember it when I was, or feel it when I was racing. Kept trying to feel it a little bit, and I never felt it. Now, the track feel. Clunky, blocky. If I had to describe it a certain way. Bouncy like a bouncy house. It looks like a bouncy house. And it also feels like, internally, like spiritually, it felt like I was trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. I get that's supposed to be the point, but that's what happens when you let a monkey design a spaceport. We don't know if it's confirmed. We're going to run with that. Overall grade, I think I give it a B. Again, none of these courses are really bad. Well, there's one. We'll get to that. Give it a B. Overall grade for the Mushroom Cup, a nice solid B+. And that's rare because I usually give like starter cups or like opening levels pretty tough grades because they're pretty novice, but that's okay. But I like to hold it to a high standard because it's Mario, you know? They do things really well. So, yeah. On to the next cup. All right, the Flower Cup, starting with the first track, Desert Hills. Aesthetically, it's decent. The desert level, you know, I gotta say, I'm not particularly partial to desert themes, dry themes, because I feel like, not always. I think Dry Desert from Paper Mario was cool, but I think a lot of times with desert themes, desert biomes, sometimes designers get a little bit comfortable with the idea of, oh, it's a desert. It's supposed to be empty. And they just kind of use that as a reason why they didn't do a lot of design. Not always true, but sometimes. For me, it was all right. It was okay. Now, the music. It's not bad. The music, not bad. Bouncy, jumpy. Kind of felt nice. It was a little bit jazzy, which was a refreshing oasis while in the desert. So, I'm mad about it. I'll take that. Track feel. Track feel for this. It was sort of basic. It was sort of basic, I would say, but The thing I like the most about this track is towards the end, it's pretty windy. And, you know, when I raced on this track, the times that I have, it led to a pretty interesting finish. So, like, I felt like I had to sit up a little bit in my chair. Most of it, I was like... Then we got to the end, I was like... By the end, I was nerd necking a little bit. And that's why my scoliosis is getting worse. But overall, not bad. Not great, not bad. That's kind of the theme with a lot of them. I'm going to go with a B for Desert Hills. Go with a B. Ah, okay. This is a track. This next one, Shy Guy Bazaar, is a track that I'm seeing a lot of online. When I see a lot of clips from Mario Kart World, a lot of them are from this map. So let's start with the aesthetics. Cool. Very Aladdin. Like it. Very nice. Busy. A lot of things going on with the little marketplace. I know everyone knows that one. I'm going to go with the track feel. It's crazy. There's a lot going on. It is not good for Wario. I feel like the course fat shamed me as Wario. It was just not great for the turns. And if you're a heavy character and you're taking a lot of momentum, you got to really nail those drifts. Otherwise, you're going to slam into the wall and give your racer CTE. Music. I tried to get it in my brain, and it was pretty good. I would say it was definitely matching the hectic vibes. I wish it was more Arabian Nights, you know? But it was probably because I was just too focused on not crashing. That course is a lot. It's a lot. Oh, and for the overall track feel, one of the things I've noticed, it might be my choice for like the speedrunners and the tricksters, drivers, trick shotters. There's a lot going on there. You could completely change where you could completely be in a different area if you know what you're doing. You could. I remember I was racing and someone was just above me. I was like on the bottom. I had just pulled out of the market, and someone just came flying in above me out of nowhere. And I remember I felt them like looming the whole time, and I was like, someone's definitely about to land on my head. It was a different race than the footage you'll see here, but I remember that one specifically, and that was the start of that, and all the clips I've seen since then. So overall, this track, I'm gonna give it a... I had a B written down. I'm gonna go with B+, I think. I like the aesthetic. It's different. I suck at this course, but I'll give it a B+. I think it's cool. This next one might get me accused of bias as a Wario fan, but Wario Stadium. The aesthetics. Monster Truck Derby vibes. Nostalgic, as anyone would assume. It's very nostalgic. But I just love the visuals. The crowd is all around you. There's lights. I actually felt like I was put on a show here. I wasn't just fighting for my life on the track while Yoshi giggles at me and my pain. Or, you know, I felt like I was putting on a show. I felt like even if I didn't win, that if I just did my thing, it would be really fun anyways, and it was. Track feel. Bumps, grinds, everything in between. There's height, there's ascension, there's descension, there's plummeting, there's everything. There's just, it's a lot. It's very rough, but it's supposed to be. We mash into each other. It's like a mosh pit of a stadium. I really do enjoy that. I enjoy the track feel. It feels like it's a lot of showboating, which I think fits Wario and it fits the style I like, but it also contributes to why I didn't really care too much if I had won. I did in this run. I think I did. So yeah, music, breath of fresh air. It has like the old 64-bit style to it, but it feels that way to me a little bit in some ways. I don't know why it reminds me of that, but it's modern. It's just got it has just the right amount of nostalgia. It's like if you had a really delicious cake, but there was something on top, like a drizzle that just took it to the next level. Like the cake on its own is great, and the drizzle on its own is pretty good, but when you just put them together, it makes like a sweet little cake. That's how I would describe the music here. I just felt it, you know? I was like, I wanted to peacock, like flex to the crowd and get some more points for the end there. I don't know, it just did it for me. Call me biased. Call me biased. It kept me locked in the moment. I'm gonna give this track an A+. Call me biased, I don't care. Say it. This one is interesting. So this is Airship Fortress. Airship Fortress. So, aesthetics. It's like this, it's like a gloomy castle, fortress, place where it's like if Bowser would have an Apache helicopter, like this is where he'd land it. It's okay. I'm not sure exactly what it's going for other than Bowser made this. So, Yeah, I'm pretty critical of Bowser stuff because he has a very definitive aesthetic, and if you just stick to that without expanding on it, I'll catch you, and I'll point it out. Track feel. This is where it shines. Very cramped and very unforgiving, and I noticed it's not great for heavy characters, at least in my experience. I might be ass, let me know. And that's perfect because this makes it feel like this track was designed by 1,000-Year Door Bowser, who's goofy, funny, and always getting in his own way. And that's what I like, because now you're converging different personalities, different versions of Bowser. And a Bowser who has that kind of personality, you know, Bowser's Inside Story, 1,000-Year Door Bowser, who's got some flair to him, and he's not a bumbling idiot, like he's not like a Joey-fied from Friends, but he has this nonstop complex of getting in his own way, is the best Bowser. So we started off down with the visuals, and then back up with the feel, and then back down with the music, because the music to me doesn't really fit. I don't know what this felt like. They had a lab, or like we're in a studio, and they were cooking up a bunch of Bowser tunes, and whatever was left over by the time they got to this track, they just slapped it on it. It didn't add to this course for me at all. Maybe it'll change as time goes on. I'm sorry if this is your favorite song. I apologize, but for me, didn't do it. On to the next. Okay, I'm back. There is no next. That was the last one. So, rate the Flower Cup. I'm gonna go with a B. I'm gonna go with a B. I don't think it's always about how, I mean, they always say, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. I don't think it's that important if you don't finish super strong, if the rest of the tracks are good. I'll give it a B. Like, I won't be mad if we pick Flower Cup, but I wouldn't pick it first. On to the next cup. Alrighty. Had to take a break. It's hot. Can't have fans on, at least like blowing this way, because it'll mess up the green screen. Plus, it'll be too loud. I hope you guys don't hear it as it is now. I'm sorry if you do. I apologize, but well, let me know in the comments. Anyway, next one. We're on the Star Cup. DK Pass. Love this one. Big, beautiful summit. Icy white sheets everywhere. Snow. I feel like this is definitely not old DK, but new DK. And I'm okay with that, because I would like to imagine that Donkey Kong Bonanza Donkey Kong, or even Mario Kart World Donkey Kong, same character model, same face, would be comically bad at skiing, snowboarding down here. So it fits, because that's kind of what we're going for here. So I like that. Track feel. Sorry if I'm yelling. Don't forget to drift. You will die, like I did multiple times here. That's not a problem, but I will say that it's a little congested at times, so I'll give that a little bit of a minus. Not too much of a minus. I drive with the big boys, so I don't want to be cramped. You know, I would imagine Wario would want, if he had a limo, he would want to be the only one in the back, even if he had plenty of room. So take that for what it's worth. Music, really, really nice. It is icy but warm. It is cold but hot. It is like I can just imagine if you were properly dressed and you were skiing down a mountain. And it's cold, but the sunlight's hitting you right in the face. That's what it feels like. That's what it sounds like. Overall rating on this track, I'm gonna go with an A minus. No, nay. No, A minus. A minus. On to the next one. Star View Peak. Beautiful aesthetic. The visuals, it almost feels like if someone were to make Rainbow Road at a Nintendo theme park indoors. This is what it would be like for me. So love it. It feels definitely more like an experience than a race. Track feel. Now this is where that comes into play, and a little bit of a con. It doesn't take too many chances, but it's pleasant when experiencing this course when you're on it. It's not too overly complicated, but I believe it's a beautiful foil for the complications and the difficulty of DK Pass. So like it's a nice back and forth. So I think that it's almost like constructing a music album. That maybe the song isn't great on its own, maybe it's all right, maybe it is pretty good, but it's better when you consider its before and after. So there's that. Music, it's nice, elevates, it's very fairy, it's ethereal. You know, it's right on the cusp of feeling interdimensional, but sort of just like I'm floating a little bit. Overall, track grade, a really good B+. I think that not taking any chances and just the experience of actually driving the vehicle was a little too simplified for my personal taste. But if it was a little more immersive and involved, I might give it an A-. But still, B+ is good. Very good. Very good. Sky High Sundae. Where do I start with you? Aesthetics, visuals. Again, open honesty. I've never been a super big fan of candy, you know, cream puff world themes. Careful there with that one. It's very peach birthday cake. Not my favorite. And it's kind of weird. I'm thinking about it now. I'm not a huge birthday cake flavor fan. Not super into cotton candy. It reminds me of one of the main towns in on Big Mom's Island. Whole Cake Island was where it was. Where all the candy. Yeah, it reminds me of that. Not in a good way though. Not in a good way. Track feel. This might be where we get a little spicy. That's okay because the course is sweet to balance it out. It falls into the same trap that a lot of candy / maybe even toy whimsical themed levels fall into, where it relies a lot on just bouncy, 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 and just like hard block shape, obstacle, obstacle, boom, there's a giant triangle that knocks you out. It's almost as painfully frustrating as the boss fight in Alice in Wonderland and Kingdom Hearts, the first one, where it's not ergonomically satisfying to traverse. So there's that. I will fully disclose this. I did choke horribly at the end of this race. Maybe you'll see it in the footage, hopefully. And Rosalina passed me, who was super boosted because this is her cup. You get her from this cup. Spoilers. So she was boosted, so she passed me last second. Does that factor in to me not liking this course? I'll be honest, I always fully disclose my bias. I will say I was already feeling this way before I fell. I'm going to say that. I'm going to be a Scout's honor. Believe me if you want, believe me if you don't. What's fine. Music, or back up. I like the music. It didn't fit really that much with the whimsical theme. It actually felt kind of intense for what we were doing. It almost felt like if I was in a bouncy house and it's just me and a bunch of kids just like jumping around acting stupid, and I'm not supposed to be there, but all at the same time they're playing like DMX. And I'm like, all right, I'm in, but why are we doing this here? So cool, but it didn't really fit. Overall, C+. That's still... Would you classify C as mid or C+ as mid? I think on the scale of Mario, where everything's usually pretty damn good, I guess I would call C+ mid. Anything else, C would be definitively mid. I'll go a toenail higher than mid with C+. That's what I mean by that. I think the music kind of carried, so yeah. Next one. Ooh boy. Wario's Gallion. Love this one. One of the best aesthetics in the game, visually speaking, using sound and visuals to a combo that just absolutely helps transcend the experience. It is Pirates of the Caribbean coded. Caribbean, whatever. It also reminds me a little bit of the One Piece episode. I know, sorry about the One Piece references. But the episode where they find Brook. Kind of reminds me of that too. That's vibes. Like, supposed to be scary, but there's a little bit of curiosity there. Track feel. Very, very demanding. Your sight is limited. Visuals are obfuscated. It is just... Sometimes you don't even know where is the correct path or where you're supposed to be going. I mean, when I first played this course, I made the wrong turn like 3 times. So that's there's that. I will say I love the wave riding and then the ups and downs driving through tunnels. I wish there was more of a section where we were riding through a pirate ship though. I will say that. Like Flying Dutchman ship would have been cool. Nonetheless, so far, 2 for 2 in the finest of ways. Music feels really well done. First and foremost, it's maritime. But it's also spooky. And I think that this was expertly crafted. Sort of like when you watch someone who's just really good at an artisanal craft, you're like, you did this right. What I mean is, you are very aware of your environment, but you never once forget that this is not a sailboat race. This is a kart race. You know you're racing, not sailing. So keep that for what it is, you know, in your mind hole. Overall rating on this might be a high A minus. High A minus. I got myself questioning my own ratings here because sometimes I talk up one and I go, that's actually better than I thought. And sometimes I go, it wasn't as good as I thought. But so far in this little review, it's been the former, where it's like most times I'm talking about something and I want to rate it higher than I actually gave it a rating. But we get high on some of these ratings here. Wait. That's not what I meant, YouTube. In Minecraft or something. Next one. Wait, no, that was the last cup. That was the last course in this cup. Star Cup. Star Cup ending. A minus. Very solid cup. Love that. Oh, one thing I want to talk about. One of the better cups, and this is something I probably should have rated individually, but I'll mention it when it's relevant. The transitions from course to course were really nice in this one. Really nice in this one. There's still a cup that has a better set of transitions, but we'll get there. Shell Cup. Shell Cup. Shell Cup. First up, Koopa Troopa Beach. Visuals. Simple. Beachy. Islandy. It's like you're staying at a sandals resort in the Bahamas. Doesn't do too much. Very welcoming, and it won't scare you away as a non-Mario Karter if you're starting out. I think that's kind of the point. Track feel. Track feel. It's just a straight circle. And I think this is the ultimate definitive starter course if you've never played video games or you're like you barely know. It's what your grandma or your mom who's never played wants. Like they want to try Mario Kart, you take them here because I would say if Mima, if she can't figure out how to turn with a controller, which is literally just press A and then turn around in a circle, we might have to take her to get her license evaluated and see if she can actually, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is that easy, but it's supposed to be, and I love that for that. Accessibility. Shouldn't be everywhere, but it should be somewhere. I don't know. That sounded like it made sense. Anyway, music. Actually, the more I think about it, the more it grew on me here. It's not quite Delfino Island. Is it Delfino Island? Yeah. But it's close. A lot of... You know what I mean? A lot of... It almost teeters on like when the white family goes to like Hawaii and they're trying to like kind of make beats with the luau and you're like, clapped a little too early there. You know, you're missing the beat, but it's good enough. It's good enough. It's very non-copyright music, but it's nice. I give it can't be any less than a B. It can't be because it has a clear set goal and it hit it. Like, it did its job. Next course. Far Away Oasis. I'm going to be very open and transparent here. I hope this doesn't bother anybody if I make this mistake. This is one of my notes. For some reason, I went from first being visuals, second being track feel, and 3 being music to swapping music and track feel. So now it seems like I wrote it down like visuals, music, track feel. So if I make that mistake, bear with me. I don't think it really matters. I'm still covering the bases. Anyway, Far Away Oasis. Aesthetics visually... Yeah, Oasis. We know what it is. Desert into water. That's the Oasis. Back out. But I think they did it nice. They did it nicely here. Juxtaposed it beautifully. Not much more to say other than that. They did what they wanted to do. I kind of like it. Now, track feel. Maybe I'll stay on track here. We'll see. Get it? Track feel. I feel like I lived a couple different lives on this track. It was fun. I did blow it at the end with a blue shell hitting me, and I lost it last second. It didn't change my opinion on the track. I enjoyed it. I really, really do enjoy it. Music. To wrap this up. Music. Can you focus, please? Music. I can't put my finger on it, but when I was going through this, adrenaline surging through my veins, I got a faint whiff. Well, must. And the must smelled like, hopefully not my chair, but it was of Mario Baseball, the GameCube one. I never played the Wii one. I gave up on the Wii early. That'll be a whole nother video. I'll dive into that. But the GameCube one reminds me of Mario Baseball. I don't know. That's all I have. Overall track grade, what did I give this? I liked it a lot. I know this sounds crazy because I didn't really talk to... I'm going to downgrade it, actually. I had an A-. I'm going to give that B+. My notes plus my feeling of it now don't reflect... I must have been in a good mood when I did this one. Spoiler, I didn't do all of these tracks back to back while writing this stuff down. I don't think anyone did that, but maybe I felt differently at the time. I'm going to go with a B+. Maybe it will change by the end, but B+ for now. Next course. Okay, this is where I get a little confused. And it actually messed up my note-taking and my process of recording this. So we're on Crown City in the Shell Cup. Now, if you don't remember, or if you do remember, or maybe if you don't even know where you are, fill you in. Crown City was already... It was in the Mushroom Cup. That was another Crown City. I don't know if it's a different part of the city, if it's like a borough, like if we're in like, we were in the Bronx and now we're like, we're in Queens. I don't know, but we'll start anyways and we'll review it. Someone with a bigger brain than me explain this. We're going to start with the visuals here. I'm just not a fan of the city biomes and the city stuff because it's just like the way that candy levels go for confusion and bounce or shapes and it's like lazy, and deserts biomes usually go for just nothing and that's it. Cities usually go for just congestion, and that's what they do. And I don't really, like, dude, walking in the city, New York City stresses me out. But here, it worked. Skating part with the ramp into, like, the boardwalk thingy. I don't know what it was. Then the riding on the bridge was cool. That bridge is straight out of Black and White. You can't change my mind on that. Really great generation of Pokemon that ages well. We'll get into that at some point, too, probably. Visuals, good. Music, forgettable. They went for some sort of upbeat... version of the urban music this time around, I think they should have went full on Wu-Tang. I don't care. It don't matter to me. Maybe a Tribe Called Quest. Just really lean into it. I don't know how that would have worked with the rest of the tunes, but that's what I'm gonna go with here. I didn't even write that down. That just flew into my brain, literally into my brain hole as we're talking here. Okay, track feel. It didn't play any better, any worse, I don't think, than the other Crown City. I like the ups, I like the downs, the ramps, the bridges. It is a stage 2, definitively stage 2 course if you just graduated from Mario Kart 101. You want to take it, you think you're good after you did Super Mario Bros. Circuit or whatever the hell? You think you're good? Find out. That's how I feel. Overall track grade, I give this one a B. B is like flatline. I enjoyed it. It didn't tickle my fuzzy peaches. You get the point. Next. And here we are at the first of the 2 Peach Stadiums. Interesting. I have some feelings about this one. We'll get into it. So the overall aesthetics, bear with me on this. I'm not a hater, I promise, of Peach things. I like Peach's overall vibe. It feels like a blend of other tracks in the game. It doesn't really have much of an identity to me. I'm not sure what the aesthetic is here. I think it's part of the kingdom, Mushroom Kingdom, like her castle. It didn't feel like much of a stadium at all. It almost felt like a misnomer calling this a stadium, I will say. It didn't have any peachy vibes to it. It wasn't good or bad, it just was there. Music. I wrote this down in my notes, and I remember me not remembering it. I remember playing that track and literally opening my ears like Dumbo to try and hear the music, and I just couldn't. It wouldn't register a note. It's like when someone with a boringly monotonous, monotone voice just tries to talk to you, and you're like, and you just hear the Charlie Brown, and I couldn't retain a word. That's how it was with the music. I literally wrote down in my notes, I could see it right here. I wrote, I just played this 10 seconds ago, and I can't remember a single beat. No bueno. Demerit. You lost a gold star, SpongeBob. Give me that. Track feel. Super boring. Super boring. It felt like I designed this on a Mario Kart track builder, but it was my first time trying it. And I did it from memory. Trying to remember what like a good Mario Kart track feels like. Overall grade, C+. Actually, I'm gonna drop this to C. I was just talking about how I was raising everything up a little bit. I'm gonna drop this to a C because the aesthetics didn't make sense. The music was not memorable at all, but it wasn't bad, but it wasn't memorable. Super boring track. Yeah, I'll give that one a C. That was definitively mid. It doesn't deserve slightly better toenail better than mid. Next track. Wait. That was the last track. Shell Cup, I put down here a B. You know, I think that I'm gonna go with a B minus because I think that B signifies I enjoyed my time on this course. It wasn't great, it was good. I don't think it was good. I think it was either at best pretty good or at worst almost good. Go B minus. Next, Cup, baby. Oh, baby. The Banana Cup. The Banana Cup. The Banana Cup. Oh, man, I can't wait. So we're going to talk about this Banana Cup. We're going to start out with the hottest start, I think, out of any of the cups. Peach. Beach. Don't talk to me about visuals. Don't talk to me. Top 5 in the game. No, top 3 in the game. Maybe top 4. Don't talk to me. Reminds me, this is very specific, of the Island Kingdom in Little Mermaid. Specifically, the visuals in the Little Mermaid live action movie. I don't care how you feel about that movie. Don't comment that. Actually, comment anyways. Or don't. That's what it reminds me of. It's just 10 out of 10, no notes, nostalgic, modern, fairy tale, realistic. Oh, I love it. It makes me want to just like grab a shell, a conch shell, which apparently it's called not a conch shell. SpongeBob, you lied to me. I found this out yesterday. It's not a conch, it's conch. It's a hard CH. Makes me want to grab one and go with it. I don't know what that means. I didn't even write that down. I just made that up. Well, I made up everything. Anyway. Track feel. Perfect balance of water kart racing and land racing. I called it, I think I said it was land kart. That doesn't make sense. But water kart is not a word either. I think I made that up. It has uphill climbs. It has downhill slopes. It has the beach sections, but you're not too long on the beach. You're not just standing there in the sand. It's just You know? Some aerial moments too. Aerial moments. Ariel, flying Ariel, Little Mermaid. Oh my god, man. I'm gonna give it an 11 out of 10 just for that. Just because it just worked itself out. Music. Pure bliss and vibes. I'm on a vacation, but I'm not at like a resort at the most basic island you could ever go to. I'm on a beautiful one where the locals come out and they actually want you there. That's what I'm about. Rating on this one. Put it big up on the screen right now. A+. No regrets. Man, you're probably thinking, oh my god, is it going to be the highest grade he gives? No. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to yell at you. Don't take the kids. All right, next course. Salty Speedway. I don't know why I gave it that serious of an intro. I don't really feel... no, I feel pretty strongly about this, but in weird ways. I have a lot to say, but I don't feel strongly about it, actually, now I'm thinking about it. Anyway, aesthetics, visuals. It almost feels like it's just a transition stage. It's not the... It's not bad. It's really good at that. It almost feels like it's a transition stage between Peach Beach and then something else, but like we never get to that something else. Definitively in this Mario Kart World, I feel like when we are going from one track to the next within a cup, I am aware of the transition phase, and then when we get to the next part, I never really had that moment click for me a little bit into the race on Salty Speedway. That said, I love the gondola parts. Is that what that's called? With the little things in the water, like in Italy that they have. Is that what that's called? I think it might be. You know what this aesthetic reminded me of when I was there specifically? That Pokemon movie where Ash makes out with a Latias? That city. Waterways, canals. That was a weird movie. Track feel. I would say not bad. It's a starter track for those looking to get better at water racing. Now, can we just talk about, this is back to the visuals. The water looks so good. I want to drink that water. It's probably full of piss, but then maybe not. But it looks nice. Maybe it's not full of piss. Or maybe they don't pee in the Mario World. The separate video. That's going to be on Patreon. We don't have one. Can I say that on YouTube? Whatever. Music. Not bad. Not bad. Not great. Not memorable. I thought that the music here would be better. I was waiting for something more Mediterranean, more, how can I say it, more Amalfi Coast, more Ratatouille, like it's from one of those, I don't know, maybe. I wouldn't put it on in the car, but I wouldn't skip it. Come on. So you pass the shuffle test, what we'll call it. That's what it is. The shuffle test is something that is good enough to not be skipped when you get there on shuffle, but you wouldn't go and hit the button. Next track. I forgot to give this a rating. A B. I'm gonna go B because I really liked the waterway aesthetic once we were in that one part of the course. So B. Dino, jungle, the jungly. What will I say about this? Well, what did my notes say? My notes say it's Jurassic Park coded. And I decided after reading that I'm spending far too much time on TikTok. I got brain rot. Diagnosed. It's lethal. Terminal, maybe. We'll see. Maybe electroshock therapy. Anyways, love the aesthetic. And of course, anytime they leaned into the jungle theme. So all the parts of the dinosaur jungle theme that were really right in your face. Literally, when I looked up and I saw a dinosaur taint above me, I was like... When that happened, I was like, okay, I feel it. I'm in here. Where's Jeff Goldblum? Like, where's that? I need to see that. Now, track feel. I've been going off of a little bit of my notes and sort of riffing, but here I think I need to do my notes justice and read to you exactly what I wrote. I said, a lovely balance of hills, swirls, swoops, bumps, and bruises. Rough, but natural. Heyo. What I wrote. I paused in my own notes. I hit myself with a pause. Music, I think it's the xylophone that I really like. Is that what it is? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is that what it is? Like that jungle theme? Unfortunately, it somewhat reminded me of Donkey Kong's what is it? Jamboree Buddy, his mini game in Jamboree, the new Mario Party. It takes so long. Not a negative, but it just reminded me of that, and it was like that. It's not a bad game. It's literally just like Guitar Hero, Rock Bandy, but it takes too long. Anyway, sidetrack. It is just jungle instruments galore, woodwind, perfect. Boom. I think maybe I'm just a little too excited for Donkey Kong Bonanza. That is personally the game that I am looking forward to playing the most out of the new games. I'm a little blessed. Quick little, not related section here. I never beat Breath of the Wild. I was about halfway through, almost less than halfway through. And I never played Tears of the Kingdom. I never played Mario Odyssey. I never played 3D World and Bowser's Fury. I never played any of those games. So I get to experience them in their best versions on Switch 2. So I'm blessed. But Donkey Kong Bonanza is the game I'm looking forward to the most out of the new Switch 2 titles so far. So maybe I'm a little too excited. Course ranking, rating, in A. Next one. Great Question Block Ruins. Aesthetics. I'm so sorry. Another One Piece reference. But it's got Skypiea, which is just a sky world, Skyland, Sky City, mixed with a Donkey Kong Airbnb. I wrote that down, and it still kind of makes some sense. And I said, don't ask me what that means. So don't ask me what it means. I have no idea. Like, you pull up and DK's there ready. Oh, actually, no, if it was Airbnb, you'd pull up and he's not ready to let you in. So there's that. It'd be very fitting to his personality to not be ready. And I said, I put this in the notes too. It almost feels like I wrote derivative of Dino Jungle. I don't think that's exactly the right way to describe it. I would say it's more like an extension or like a DLC for it, but it's a good thing. It felt like you hit a launch pad in Dino Jungle and like you shot upward. That's where you landed. You landed up there, which I think was cool, and it actually plays into what I'll say at the end when I grade the whole cup about transitions. Music strong, but not very unique. I thought a place of this type of, visuals like this would have its own tunes, like something that's just strongly itself. But no, not really. It was pretty good though. It was good. It was good. It was nice. Like I would, if it came on, but I wouldn't like. If that makes any sense. Track feel. It had a lot of sky high elements. Shout out to the movie, which of course was great. I like those. I think they're fun. I don't think they're hard to accomplish, but it helps kind of, it's not it's an immersion enhancer. It's not a pace breaker. It's a reprieve from the course. You get to gather your thoughts, but also take in the landscape whenever those occur. And I like that. I like that because you get to stop and smell the roses for a bit. You're not missing the forest for the trees, but it almost plays like as a track, like it's like Mayan. Very Mayan. It plays like how I would expect. It plays like how Mayan ruins would if I was driving through them. I've never been, but it just feels like that to me. Grade B+. B+. Overall cup grade for the Banana Cup, which is what I wore for baseball. The Banana Cup, I'm going to give it an A. A. Flat A. One of my favorite cups. Probably my favorite cup so far out of all the cups we've done. At least up until this point. But very strong. Oh, sweet, sweet Leaf Cup. What a start you had. And what a finish that, if I remember correctly, was interesting. First course in the Leaf Cup. And it's my favorite. Spoilers! Cheep Falls. Love this one. Love Cheep Falls. Visually, I wrote best in the game. That might not be true. It's my favorite, but it might not be the best. And stick around, you'll see why. I wrote down that, comparing it to Peach Beach, which I also love, Peach Beach had a little bit of nostalgia boosting it. Just a little bit. A little bit. It was heightening it, but it also helped a little, This is straight on its own. Glorious. This right here is where the Switch 2 shines. Because I played through this with my ridiculously overexpensive, unnecessarily good monitor that was in 1440p with HDR on. We had the 60 FPS, and it was just, oh my God, it was amazing. It was just gorgeous. This was I started playing Mario Kart World, we actually randomized and picked. We didn't start off in order. And I believe this was one of the first tracks we played, and immediately I went, whoa. This is the experience you wanted with the Switch 2. This is the defining moment for me. This is the first time, maybe Wario's Gallion too, but probably the first time definitively I went, damn, this is not possible on the Switch 1. This is what we wanted. This is what we got. So, love it. Love it. Music, Japanese influence, beautiful. It enhanced the experience. I wrote in my notes that the sounds and the audio mixing with every beat and every turn elevated it and enhanced me. It just, I started to float. I was ascending. I even wrote in my notes, my toes were curling. So, I mean, I was hooking it, straight talon around the bends. And speaking of the bends, track feel. This, in my experience, has the most amount of, It is very difficult. The part where you go off the waterfall and you got to navigate around those falls, that riptide little rush, the white water sections where you're like rafting. One of the hardest bends to nail in the game. I mean, I've seen probably the most amount of lead changes in any course there. You're just losing it. Like right, you know, right there. And I will say this, very not friendly for beginners. That's the true test. If you can nail this track, you should be good anywhere else. And it has the highest potential for skill expression, I think, at least for mechanics. Now, trick driving and tricking it and speed runs, I am not sure. I don't know that. I would say definitively, though, in my experience, the skill expression of navigating around this is the highest it will be in the game. So, yeah. Love that. Grade? Ooh. It's an S, baby. It's an S. Any surprise here? Next course. This one's interesting because I'm allowing myself to simplify this and let the strong points carry its rating. So the next course is Dandelion Depths. Aesthetics. It's a good course, but let me tell you something. The underground cove at the bottom of the depths, yes, might be the single greatest visual biome area we have in the entire game. Just isolating it in a vacuum, like this area was like, whoa, where you take your eyes off the road for a second type stuff. So yeah, that's really strong. Very, very strong. The rest of the track is good, but this is grand. So if everything's good, but the really high point is grand. Not just great, grand. It's gonna, track feel. Track feel. You know, nothing really stood out to me until I got to that windy part. Down and down and down into the depths. And I don't really remember most of the rest of the track, and that's okay, because this is so memorable and so good. That's all you need. Another plus. Now the music, good, but I wish it was better, because it's going to be tough to do this, but to elevate this section here with music would have been perfect. You want it to match. I want it to be something closer to the original Pokemon Snap games when you're in a cave taking pictures and it's like do. You know what I'm saying? But it was still really good. Overall grade for this, A-, baby. It's a very, very strong few points carrying it to an A-, but it's an A-. Now there isn't really enough to say about this next track that would do it justice. Boo Cinema. I wish I was a little bit more descriptive in my notes, but I'll say the aesthetics were awesome. I mean, everyone likes the movie theater theme, the use of color transitions, and then when you just burst through and it turns to that like sepia filter, like the movie theater old school film roll views, colors, themes, filter, it locks you in. Very few times in this game and in my escapades throughout Mario Kart World did I have an aesthetic lock me in, and that happened when you burst through the film roll and you're rising up the path. Locked in. W. Track feel. Very cool. I mean, it's beautiful. Everything just accents it perfectly. There's cobblestone. There's the movie theater. There's the highs, the lows, the turns, the railways. It's all there. It's pretty good. There wasn't a particular super strong point of the course, but all of it was great. There wasn't like amazing parts, but it was great all the way through. Really solid, and some of the best transitions, if not the course with the best transition leading into it, leading out of it, and then leading from one part of the course to the next. Just all around flawless execution. Really just a masterclass in design work. Like, it's one thing to come up with a creative design, but to put that into paper, right, and to translate that into an actual functioning course, that's where they shine on this one. The music, come on now. The ghostly themes, the ghoulish music, and then you have a little bit of Luigi's Mansion sprinkled on top with some jazz. I love jazz. I've discovered I love jazz in my Mario Kart games. Free jazz. You like jazz? I do. Rating for this course? What else? A+. What you mean? Next one. Okay, we're on Dry Bones Burnout. Fitting name. I said, remember the thing I said earlier about Sometimes it's important about how you finish. I don't really weigh that too heavily, but I will say the aesthetics of Dry Bones Burnout. Pretty fun. It's Bowser coded despite being Dry Bones. It's Bowser coded. And I think it's to its fault. I think because they went for a Bowser coded thing, but it's not Bowser, it's Dry Bones. It doesn't feel very strong in its personality. I think they went too much with, oh, lava, 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 lava. Burn, 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 burn. Fire, fire, cobblestone, cobblestone, dark. It's not, you know what, I'll say this. Personal taste reigns supreme here. If you are someone who's goth, maybe you'll love this. So, shout out to the goth people. Emos, you love it. Music, it's the visuals. It's gloomy, and it's a strong point here. It's gloomy, but it doesn't put you to sleep. So I'll give that a point there. It's gloomy, but it doesn't put me to sleep. It helps keep me awake on this. And now track feel. I'm going out of order with these. Track feel. This is one of the craziest kart tracks ever for me because I have a streak here of 4 straight times falling in the same lava pits. I don't know if you have it here in this footage that I recorded, but I have not completed this track one time without falling in the lava. Yeah, it's hard. It's a hard. It's also, it's not really difficult. It's just that when you get to that point, it sucker punch every time. And you're like, ah. Overall, trying to keep my bias out of this with not liking those visuals per se. A B. Not the strongest finish, but it is a decent finish in a fantastic cup. Overall grade for the Banana Cup, A+. It's my favorite one so far, baby. I love this. I mean, I'll deal with Dry Bones Burnout. And I will say this, the transitions were great. Dry Bones Burnout doesn't fit with what we were doing in this course, in the cup here. That's why it contributes to the B. Like, it makes sense, right? With Cheep Falls into... Well, I guess that doesn't really make sense. Well, no, Cheep Falls, you go up, down, and then you go to the Dandelion Depths, and then you're back until you end up at the boot thing. I guess then I have to have continuity, so I won't hold that against it, but love this cup. I will pick this. This is my... If you ask me to pick a cup, I'm picking this one. Next. I just want to say I mistakenly called this the Banana Cup, I think. At the end with the rating, this is the Leaf Cup. I don't want... I love you so much. I don't know how I got your name wrong. That's like... Dude, that's like... If you're with your significant other that you're with for like 10 years, and like one night you just... Like their name is like Jessica, and you call her like Bernice. In the middle of like some moves. Putting the moves on, and you just say the wrong... Oh my god, I feel terrible. A+ to the Leaf Cup. All right. On to the Lightning Cup. Fan favorite, I guess, maybe. Moo Moo Meadows is the starter here. Aesthetics, simple, friendly, whimsical, and cutesy. That's it. It sets out to do that, and it does it well. And not much more to say. I mean, cows? You know, like, what am I going to say? Now, music. Melodic. Doesn't take too many chances. If... This was the course, like you're just da-da-da-da-da-da. The music is da-da-da-da-da-da to match the vibes, and that's fine. It has a goal here, and it sets out to do it, and it nails it. Track feel, easy. There's like baby bumps, like giving the illusion to like really young kids or really, really old people that like they're nailing it, but it's just like kind of baby steps, which is cool. You need that. I think I'm gonna revise my first choice for like starter course, if you're just getting into the game, to this one. Because it's like very welcome. Overall grade B. Again, like B is good. B is good. B's good. Ooh. Choco Mountain. Okay, the aesthetic is a mountain. I wrote, is there like a theme here, like something with chocolate? I must have missed it. I did in fact miss it. There are giant chocolate balls that try to hit you. I thought they were boulders, but I get the point now. Other than that, very boring, very not memorable. I'm gonna be honest. I did not like it. I thought it was just, I almost felt like I did this race because I had to. Music. Basic, man. Just do. Like if someone tried to make a Mario beat with AI. Track feel, it's just mountainous slopes. It's nothing memorable. It's nothing identifiable, uniquely its own. In my humble opinion, I didn't enjoy my time on this course that much. I felt like it was a chore. A means to an end, to something else later on. And I wrote down C-. I'm tempted to go D+. And I think I don't want to because it's below average, but it didn't suck. It just bored me. So if it's okay, then it's mid, it's C. But if you bored me on the side of mid, like a lower side of mid, you bored me, then you're a C-. If you piss me off, you're in the Ds. So there's that. So yeah, C-. Next one. Toad's Factory. I ain't gonna lie to you. When I saw this one, I went, I'm not gonna like this. I don't like the toy themes. I don't like the super goofy, childish themes. I usually don't. And then I was wrong. The visuals, I loved it. I loved it. I did. I love it. It was very... Reminded me of when I play with my action figures. Not dolls. I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. I think they used their lighting, its lighting, to its advantage. Now, if I can't really... I could show you, and I could tell you. But if you play it, you'll know. So, yeah. Now, as far as the music goes, this one kind of surprised me too. I wasn't sure with what arrangement they'd go with here. But they went with jazzy Toy Story-esque music, like in the Toy Story game, specifically Toy Story 2, which I loved. I loved that. I wasn't surprised. I was surprised. I went, okay, I really do love jazz in my racing games. I like jazz in general. So this helps. I don't know. I guess when you're just bouncing around, you're doing your thing, and you're feeling the creativity of these maps, and they're crazy, and they're in this animated world, jazz kind of helps you get there mentally. Fires up those neurons. Help you do it. Track feel. I like the twists and turns, the bumps, the highs, the lows, the dodging of the machinery. Specifically, I really loved the dodging of the machinery. I wish they did that more. I wish they did that more, because that was the best part. But overall, good, really good, strong. A minus. That's crazy. I didn't expect it to be A minus. A minus. Bowser's Castle. Off rip. I'm like, damn. Another Bowser theme. I'm not gonna really mess with it. I was wrong again. Nice, good. I'm glad. Prove me wrong. I'll admit if my first impressions were off, or if I judged a book before, or judged a book by its cover. So, yeah. Now, it's because Bowser's theme is overly used. It is the definition of overused, Bowser's theme. But it was nailed here. I think the distant backgrounds really added to it. There's a word for this. I watch Arlo a lot, and he has a word that he uses for this. It's a videography term. It's not this word. Horizon is not it. But it's, for some reason, that's the word popping in my brain. It's not the word, though. There's a word for it to describe it. It's in the background. It just adds to it. So, W for that. Track feel. Difficult, hard, punishing, unforgiving, evil in some ways. But they give you a few nice reprieves in the air to appreciate the landscape, which I really like. Give me that second or two to remember what I'm doing here and how it's supposed to be fun. That's what I liked a lot about this course. The music is the only negative, and it's not really negative actually, I'm sorry, it was good, nothing memorable. And I wish I had more to say. That's really it. Not even a negative, it's just, milquetoast. But overall course rating, B+. Now, the Lightning Cup grade, y'all got lucky. Y'all finished with a B. The last two courses carried. Gonna give it a B. On to the last one. The Special Cup. Okay, on to the Special Cup. This one's a wild ride. No pun intended, actually. We're gonna start with Acorn Heights, as we would. Aesthetic, really true to its name. We're high up in the air, and there are acorns. We're in a tree. I feel bite-sized, like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and it was me. I mean, that's it. It did its job. Music, quirky, very nature scope. Very nature scope. Music. Very canopy, foliage. Track feel. I get it's supposed to be the thing. The acorns. It feels like you're the pin, and they're the acorns of the bowling ball. It's supposed to piss you off. A lot of these parts of this. I think that there is a difference between hard and difficult tracks and then ones that are annoying. Like, this is a very specific reference, but if you played Elden Ring, there was a boss in the Elden Ring DLC. I think it's, was he like an armadillo? What was he? I think he was an armadillo. Or no, it was like a rhino or something like that. Basically, the premise of this boss was like you were stuck in a really small room with a giant boss. And that was the gimmick, and that's why it was hard. Not because he had challenging combos, or he was really interestingly unique. No, he was just a big guy in a little suit. Like a little jacket, whatever it is. It was stupid. I'm not a fan. I put down B- because I didn't like the way that it raced. I didn't enjoy it. I thought it was annoying. Because listen. Too many times, and I'm pretty good at this game, too many times I was getting knocked over by stupid stuff I couldn't avoid. And it was very pace breaking to me. So I'm going to go a B-. Sorry if that isn't it, you know? On to the next one. Okay. I've been fair. And I've been pretty clear, I think at least, that I really love this game. I think it's awesome. I think even the least great tracks are fun. You brought me to Mario Circuit. So I'm going to talk about Mario Circuit. Aesthetics. What even is the aesthetic here? Mario? This looks like if you took a Super Nintendo Mario Kart course and you drew it from memory. It is hideous. And it is boring. And it is just all the assets blend in. And I know I'm like a milquetoast Mario level hater. Like whatever Mario's theme is, like generic level 1-1-1. Like I'm not a huge fan of generally. Not that I dislike it, it's just kind of milquetoast. This sucks visually. It is ugly. It is like if a child was playing with toy blocks and they didn't put them away and it was just left everywhere. Music, boring, just like the visuals. Non-memorable. A Mario theme rendition gone wrong. Cops were called, I guess. I don't know. Track feel, horrid. Repetitive, no interesting turns. It's just the same, like you're winding. It's the same. And then there's this one part of the course towards, I think, the end of the laps where you're driving and you can cross direct path with whoever's in dead last, if they're dead last enough, if they're really far behind, lagging behind. And it is the dumbest thing because they come out of nowhere and it's just awful and it makes no sense. It's weird. It's not, but it almost teeters on oversight for me. It doesn't make sense. So, all this being said, what did I give this course? A D-. A D-. And I'm only not giving it an F because it's still Mario Kart, it's still a video game, and because the transitions in and out of it, specifically out of it, maybe because we were leaving, I didn't mind. Maybe because we were leaving, I'm like, get me the hell out of here. D-. I think it stinks. It is. What pisses me off most about this course is that it is a part of the special cup. What is special about this cup? Anywho, oh man, I'm so glad we're here. Peach Stadium 2? The Special Cup Peach Stadium? Aesthetics. I literally wrote, am I tripping or are there two Peach Stadiums? Whatever I said for the first one applies to this one too, I guess. It's like an upper level version of it, which I think is still right. Music, basic, like the first one. Doesn't really feel thematically accurate. It doesn't tickle my peaches, LOL. So there's a joke in there. I'm crushing these last two courses. I'm sorry, but man, it's the Special Cup. Maybe I'm missing something. Someone smarter than me explain this. Track feel. I wrote, feels damn near identical to the first one. And I literally wrote, how is this a special track, Special Cup track, if it's literally named the same thing with identical biomes and environments? Now, it could, I'm going to say this right now. I could be very well missing something. This is standard. Maybe there's something going on here that I'm missing. But to me, this looks like they decided how many tracks and cups they were going to put in the game, and then they didn't have enough. So they just did a part 2. This is like DLC that they charge you for, and it's not good. Like the Crown Tundra DLC. You know? One of those. Y'all ever have a group of friends that you game with that you know in real life, and maybe most of y'all are buns, but you have that one friend that you always want to call because he's a demon, and he always carries. And you're boosted, but you're boosted because of this one friend. That is what this last course does for the Special Cup with Rainbow Road. Let's get into Rainbow Road. Feel this? Let's go, baby. Let's get it. Aesthetics. It is the #1 objective aesthetic in the game, in my humble opinion. Is it my favorite? I don't know yet. It's up there with Cheep Falls, but it is objectively, I think, the best because for a few reasons. It is unique, but it is also reminiscent and nostalgic of Rainbow Road. They somehow managed to take the most used track across all games where it has the most derivatives and not even make it a derivative experience. It is additive to the highest degree. It is such a beautiful set of visuals. The transitions are perfect. I know exactly where I'm going and what I'm doing every single time. It's chills. It's chills. Music. It's the best music in the game because The audio mixing combined with the actual sounds are perfect. Every turn you make, every second I even adjust the wheel, I felt like the music was matching that. It almost felt like it was cloning or matching my movements, mirroring them and relaying it with sounds. The music, it was upbeat, ethereal, but it was also grounding, but still uplifting. It was almost like it was comforting gravity in an area in space where you were going to float away otherwise. It's home. Away from home. The feel. This is the most fun I've had on a Rainbow Road track, and if any of the Rainbow Roads I've given a couple laps around. It is difficult, but not to the point of exhaustion. It's not annoying. It's just you have to stay locked in the whole time, but that's the good part. But not so locked in where you can't appreciate what's going on around you. You don't forget you're racing in a Mario game. You know you are, and they remind you they are, and they're like flexing on you. Like that meme of Dexter where he's like, stunt on them hoes. Like that is what they did with this track. I have to give it so much flowers because you know how hard it is to make, in my opinion, the objectively best track in the game be a track that was already existed. That's harder to do. It's harder to make an elite version of Rainbow Road than it is to make an elite track off the cuff. Yeah, you have to come up with a new idea if you're creating a new course, like Cheep Falls. I think it's a new course. Maybe it's in a Mario game. I don't remember. But this, you have to expand on something that was already deemed by many to be damn near perfect, and this is as close as you're going to get. I can't imagine a reality where they make a better version of this. Maybe they do. I didn't think it was possible up until this point. This is another moment where I went, I am so glad I bought a Switch 2. I'm glad I have the specs to reflect that. I feel the Switch 2 in this one. It's awesome. Do I even have to rate this? Like the grade? I mean, it's an S+. It's the best course in the game. It's not close, I don't think. All things considered. It is like Cheep Falls is max bar in a couple categories, and it's like almost max bar in a few. This is max bar in every single category, all the way down to when you go through the little circle at the end, and you're finished. Now, I will say, coming back here, despite having the single best track in the game, this cup is a B. It had really low lows. And it's a disappointment to me that they managed to put two derivative courses, painfully derivative courses, as Mario Circuit and Peach's Stadium. One was literally the copy of the other one, in a way, in the same cup. But maybe that was on purpose. I don't know. But I'll tell you what, it is such a strong course that it is worth trudging through this cup to get to it. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this, man. Let me know what you guys want to see next on the channel. I'm sort of coming into my own here and figuring out what we want to do. I had a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Took a while to get this video out, but I wanted to do it right. You don't want to see how many times I did it wrong. But it's important to recognize that. For any of those who want to try, you will fail a lot. That's how you learn. Thanks for watching, man. Subscribe if you haven't. I'd appreciate that. I'll see you soon. Peace.